So I'm excited to welcome Michelle, owner of Nail It and Thrive and Rethink, and you're based in the UK. So hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Can you share your story with us and tell us about the services you provide?
I'm the owner of Nail It and Thrive, which is an online arts award centre, and we deliver the first and only arts award in nail art, which is something new, and we've been running for about 9 months now, and that's become really popular. So in addition to that, I run a consultancy which is Rethink Workforce and People Strategy. And that might sound very different to supporting home educated students, but actually both businesses are very similar in that it's about helping people to thrive and reach their potential. So that's what I'm really interested in doing. So I don't know if people are familiar with the Arts Award, but the Arts Award is a nationally recognised qualification that helps people to develop their creativity skills, but also helps with employability skills. So things like leadership development and project management skills, are part of the course. And I'll just say, well, traditionally, the Arts Award has run in settings like theatres and music schools and art centres, never before in the world of nail art. So, I'm delighted that
Brilliant.
we've kind of introduced this new element, and it's proven to be really popular, particularly with home educated students.
Yeah, and it's a nationally recognised award.
Our silver award is our most popular, and that is equivalent to a GCSE. So the course is on something called the Regulated Qualifications Framework. So it's been assessed as equivalent to a GCSE qualification. It's a nationally recognised level 2 qualification that will be recognised by colleges and universities, etc. We also run the Gold Award as well, which is equivalent to, it's a level 3 qualification, so that's equivalent to an A level and actually carries UCAS points, so that can actually help people get into university as well.
Oh, brilliant. And what led you to start Nail It and Thrive?
It was really about my personal journey with my daughter. So my daughter was unexpectedly needing to home educate and physically couldn't enter school due to a number of health issues. So it wasn't something we planned. We were very much thrown into it. And she became quite disengaged from learning and found it quite a struggle. She really struggled with her energy levels. So I was really looking for activities and a way to kind of gradually re-engage her in learning. So we were experimenting really. We were doing kind of artistic things, and we were doing kind of nails and nail art. And I'd actually employed a nail technician to, teach her some kind of basic nail skills. And we'd always enjoyed getting our nails done together for years and years, with birthdays or holidays, we'd get kind of nail art done on our nails together. So we started experimenting with nail art, and around the same time I discovered the Arts Award. And as I said earlier, it's something that has traditionally been done in other settings like theatre schools and dance schools and this kind of thing. And I just asked the question of the Arts Award whether a course could be done in nail art. And I guess because of my background, because I've always worked in organisations where I've been responsible for organisational capability, and that includes learning and development, I'm very kind of attuned to and kind of into the idea of developing new development courses and things. So with Millie's help, actually, we developed the Nail It and Thrive course in nail art. She does the demonstrations on the course, and that's really fitting because actually the Arts Award is all about helping young people to develop new skills and then share those skills. So I'm really keen, to kind of support my daughter in doing that, to help her with her skills. But it's very much, as I say, the ethos of the Arts Award that the young people share their skills. So when people do the Arts Award in nail art, one of the things they can do for their project, for example, is tutorials in nail art where they share their skills with other young people. I'm hoping it's something that will grow and grow, and more people will get involved in learning different skills and techniques in nail art and different designs, and share those with other people.
Yeah, and it sounds like for your daughter that was really a hook, as you said, to re-engage her back into learning. And
absolutely, yeah. So it very much kind of gave her energy and purpose, and really through being involved in the Arts Award course, she then progressed and did more in terms of maths and English and, you know, more formal learning. So it really was a route back, and that's been found in Arts Award research as well. London South Bank University has carried out an impact study into the impact of the Arts Award, and they found that a lot of students who had been disengaged from learning re-engaged in learning through engaging in the Arts Award. So it really is a fantastic course. It's about kind of personal growth and well-being as much as it is about creative skills and that kind of thing.
I think quite often, certainly in national curriculums, those sort of softer skills are not really focused on, are they? So
no,
it's really
and
important.
I think, you know, again, because I've worked in recruitment and employee development in a corporate kind of setting, you know, employers really do struggle to find those skills in young people. So for young people to be able to engage in a course like the Arts Award, to be able to develop those skills and just illuminate them and show what they can do is such a massively valuable thing for them to do.
And you've mentioned your own personal sort of journey with home education. We know that there's a SEND crisis. So, in your opinion, what do you think the UK government should be doing to support this current crisis that we've got with SEND?
I think there's a lot more that could be done. There's obviously huge numbers of students that are absent from schools at the moment. So the latest statistics that were released by the government was over 200,000 students were severely absent. So that is missing more than 50% of their school year. And most of those, or a high proportion of those, are SEND students. Our own experience has been that whilst the local authorities should be providing education after 15 days or more of absence, that's not happening in a lot of cases. And I think that is where a lot more government funding ought to be going, personally. I know the government has said that they're going to or are providing more funding for schools, but so many SEND students physically cannot enter a mainstream school once they, you know, due to trauma and, you know, the environment just being inappropriate for them. So I really do think that, well, first of all, the government ought to be measuring the number of students that are entitled to Section 19 provision. So that's the legal entitlement to education that students have once they've been away for 15 days. Government ought to be measuring what proportion or not of students are actually being given that entitlement. They're not measuring that at the moment, so that they should be doing. And in addition, there ought to be actual funding for those students that can't access, you know, school establishments. So that means an investment in remote learning, and it could be community-based learning as well. So, for example, my daughter, as I say, did work with a nail technician. You know, it needn't be that, but some kind of community-based learning that involves like work experience and that kind of thing. Really supporting students to engage in that kind of activity, I think is where there ought to be far more focus and far more support. You know, we've got nearly 1 in 7 young people that are NEET, so not in employment, education and training at the moment in the UK. And, you know, a very high proportion of those are SEND. So, you know, it's very obvious this link that we've got between the poor support for SEND students and their ongoing long-term, you know, poor employment prospects if we don't do something. And not only do students suffer because of that, you know, the country suffers because of that. So this really does need a whole substantial look at. As I said, I think there ought to be far more focus and investment on these students that can't access establishments at all, build their employability skills, involve them in creative things to build their confidence, and involve them in community-based learning. And additionally, I think there ought to be far more support and focus on building those individuals' identities and sense of worth and well-being. Years ago, when I was at PwC, I spent my first 10 years of my career at PwC as an HR consultant. And at that time, it was in 2010, the government changed its policy to do with how it dealt with people that were absent from employment. I don't know if you'll remember this, but years ago, there used to just be sick notes that people were given, and it totally treated somebody as if they were ill, they were out of the workplace, they weren't really supported. And the change in policy in 2010 was that actually fit notes were introduced. And the reason that those fit notes were introduced, which, by the way, allowed people to kind of work part-time if they had ill health issues. The reason there was that policy change is because of large-scale research which had looked into the fact that work is good for people's well-being. It gives people a sense of purpose, it builds people's identity, it gives them a sense of self-worth.
Yeah, and belonging.
And I was actually involved in that work at the time. So Dame Carol Black was somebody that led that review and actually shared the stage with Dame Carol Black at the time. I was doing a lot of work on wellness and well-being and employees at the time when I was at PwC. And I believe that same logic, that same thinking, those same psychological principles are just as important to students and their absence issues. So the government really does, I think, need to focus on how are we going to build the identity, the purpose and the self-worth of these students that are absent and can't access these mainstream schools. There needs to be far more focus on that. And as I say, that's something that I'm aiming to do with Nail It and Thrive, but it needs to be a really significant investment in that, and we haven't got that yet.
Yeah, completely agree. And the workplace, as you say, make all sorts of adjustments now, rightly so. And why does the school system not allow for that? It's just so outdated, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think the education system really has a lot of kind of catching up to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so talking about creative skills, why do you think that's important for young people to develop?
Well, I think there's several reasons. I think there's something about the demand for creativity skills, first of all. If we look at a report that was published last year by the World Economic Forum, looking at the future of jobs and the skills needed in the workforce, actually they cited creativity skills right up there with technological skills and analytical thinking skills. So creative thinking, first of all, is, by 2030, one of the really top skills needed in workforces. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is the therapeutic value of creativity. So as I've said, creative skills can help students re-engage in learning if they've become disengaged. But it's relaxing, it's something that most people feel that they enjoy doing. And it can build people's confidence and, just give people that other dimension to their learning. So, it's really valuable in so many ways.
And how can people learn more about Nail It and Thrive and access the award if they want to?
So we've got lots of information on the website, which is nailetandthrive.com. And we've also got a Facebook page where we publish promotions and we do free trial sessions most weeks, often on a Wednesday. So if people want to have a look on the Facebook page, they'll see details of any upcoming sessions like that. People can get in touch, and there's different things that we're working with at the moment. I'm actively working with one local authority, for example, to explore opportunities to support students with who are going into work experience sessions. So I'm always very open to discussing thoughts that people have about how things that they're working on at the moment can fit with what we're trying to do as an LN5.
Oh, brilliant. Is there sort of any set criteria for somebody to start the award, or can anybody?
Really, anyone can do it. So we offer the bronze, silver and gold award. So the bronze is equivalent to level 1, it's a level 1 qualification. The silver is a level 2 qualification, and the gold is a level 3 qualification. So there's really no requirements for entry into any of those levels. The length of the course varies. The bronze is the shorter course, and we take people from age 11 up to age 25. So that is the age range that the Arts Award is run for. So yeah, anyone from age 11 can join actually any of those courses.
Brilliant. Okay. Do you have any advice that you want to share with our home ed parents?
Stick in there, I think. I mean, it's really not easy doing home education. I think when you're thrown into it and you really don't know where to start, I think, stick with it. And also don't feel that you have to follow the same curriculum that the child has been used to doing in school, and really do focus on building their well-being and their identity and their sense of purpose, before you necessarily think about what kind of qualifications they are going to be doing. I think, if a child has been traumatized by their experiences in school, for example, and is really struggling with energy and things, then starting with well-being and that sense of purpose is so important, I think.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thanks for your time. I think it's a really engaging award that you're offering, and people can click the link and read for themselves. But yeah, it's been really interesting. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.